Today, we're making pizza. Now, I know it may not look like it based on my svelte physique, but pizza is one of my favorite foods. Today, we're going to attempt to make it in an oven that was designed to look like an oven, but not actually function like one, and we'll see how it goes. Welcome to Class A Cooking. Let's get started. In theory, pizza is a simple food. In its most basic form, it's just crust, sauce, and cheese. But each of those ingredients have to be at their best for the end product to be its best. So let's get started with the crust. We're going to begin by creating and feeding our sourdough starter, as in my opinion, the crust that achieves the best flavor is a sourdough. This starter can be started in as little as 3 days before you want to make pizza, but don't worry, it's really simple. Just add a little bit of flour and water to a mason jar and stir. Cover it with a cloth or paper towel and set it somewhere away from light, preferably in a warm environment. I put mine above the fridge in this little cabinet. Repeat the process daily, and in a few days your starter should smell yeasty and tart, and you should see bubbles on top. If you want to skip this step entirely, I suggest you make dough and let it rise or proof in the fridge overnight, or for at least an hour on the counter. Look, this is a labor of love. If you want pizza, you can just order it from Domino's or someplace. But if you want to make the best pizza, it's a process, albeit an easy one. The next step is to create what is called a leaven. We're going to do that by adding 50 grams of flour and 50 grams of water, as well as about 10 grams of our starter to a bowl. Cover the bowl with a damp cloth and let it ferment overnight in a warm area. I put mine above the fridge next to my starter. The next morning, stir in 200 grams of water into your fermented leaven mixture. It should be nice and bubbly like this. Then add in 350 grams of flour and about 2 grams of yeast. Mix to combine. The dough may seem a little dry at this point, but don't panic. Once the flour has time to absorb the water, it'll be perfect. Cover the bowl with a damp cloth and let it ferment until about 4 hours until you are ready to eat. At T-minus 4 hours, combine 25 grams of warm water and half a tablespoon of salt into a cup. Mix as best as you can and add that to the dough. Stir the dough to combine. Cover the bowl with a damp cloth and let it rest for 30 minutes. After 30 minutes, come back and give the dough another stir, doing your best to stretch and fold the dough. This is strengthening the dough, which will allow it to stretch and not tear in the final product. Repeat this 4 more times for a total of 6. We're counting when we added the salty water as the first. All right, it's time to assemble pizza. Look at how incredible that ball of dough looks. I'm going to try and do this quickly because the oven is preheating to its highest temperature, which is only 500 degrees, which is a bit of a bummer. And everyone says to heat your stone in your oven and then like pizza peel it into it. But the best way that I've made this in the past has been on a grill, where you have like that direct heat under the stone. On a powerful grill, it works really well. You get a really nice bottom and it turns out really well. So just add a little bit of flour. Punch this out. This might be a little thick. Just going around the outside. Keeping that crust intact. And yeah, this is going to be a little thick. Now I'm going to pick it up. Stretch it by hand. This dough smells really good. Yeah, this is going to be way too big. That's okay, I suppose. All right, now we're going to sauce our pizza. The trick to good homemade pizza is very little moisture. So we are not going to oversauce our pizza. And I'm just using Victoria jarred sauce. It's from Costco. It's it's my favorite jarred sauce. And it's so good that I most times won't even make my own sauce if I have that. All right, now we have some low moisture tart skim mozzarella. And I like a lot of cheese. Might use this entire bag. Spread that out evenly. And what pizza wouldn't be complete without... What pizza would be complete? I'm going to put pepperoni on the pizza. A pizza wouldn't be complete without pepperoni. That's what I should have said. I love these great value ones because they cut them unevenly. So I just eat the thick ones. And I like to make concentric rings of pepperoni. Just because they look nice and you get even pepperoni distribution. Pizza time. So this has been resting about 15-20 minutes now. It's still hot, but let's give it a taste. Yeah, it's still hot for sure. I mean, it's pepperoni pizza. I don't really know what else can be said for it. The dough is actually really, really pillowy, which I actually like. I like a thicker crust pizza, and then the outer crust is like nice and charred. I really love it when there's like little air bubbles there. And we get a lot of those. I actually popped a lot of them before baking. But yeah, I mean, I've been making this every Friday, and I mean, it's not quite as good as it was when I was using my really good grill to make it. Like that would get a way better bottom. But still, this is delicious, and it's still my favorite food. And one of my favorite foods, and I'm going to continue making it because why not? So I'm going to devour this, and we'll see you later. I don't think I did a good enough job explaining how good this crust is. And the flavor as well is just really good. Perfect amount of salt in there, perfect amount of flavor. It's not really sour. I think when people think sourdough, they think like that. I think it's artificial sourdough that they add like vinegar to in the grocery store. That's not what this is. This is just flavorful, yeasty, bready. I don't know. It's just amazing. But yeah, I came outside to eat because it's a beautiful day and going to continue to eat, but thought I needed to update on how just amazing this pizza is. And the sauce, I mean, you can't go wrong with Victoria. It's expensive, but it's worth every penny. And the cheese, yeah, I use grated cheese. I've tried grating my own cheese and it didn't really work out that well. So I always use grated, and it's easier and it's cheaper and all the things. So, all right, and that is it. That's how you make delicious pizza. If you enjoyed the process as much as I did, then click like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one. so disappointing. The whole RV stinks. It smells like burnt dough. The reason I did that this time was my sourdough starter was not quite ready. I cannot speak. Call me Bugs Bunny. Or no, Elmer Fudd. Weddy to shoot some wabbits.